Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. I'd like to welcome our global audience. This is Kivi webinar, and you're in for a beautiful time. This is the Gathering of the Land. I want to welcome you, and if there is someone in your world that is meant to be in this meeting, please do ensure that you send a reminder that we are live and we are ready. We have a fantastic webinar, a fantastic discussion that will surely enlighten and give you insights and also inspire you in terms of your work, your business, and provide valuable insights. So you're welcome. I'd also like to welcome our resource persons. You're welcome from wherever you are, from all over the world, actually. You're welcome to this webinar. And I'd like to just give us the structure of how this webinar will go. So we have this session will commence with our resource person presenting their papers. And today we'll be talking about the business of law. And I'm sure you're excited and you're interested in hearing what is the business of law? What does it entail? How are we doing business? How is law a business in this day of technology and business. So we're going to, each presentation will last for about 20 minutes. We have two resource people with us, and they'll be discussing on different aspects of our topic for today, the business of law. Thereafter, we'll go into an in-depth discussion and panel discussion where we'll review some of the issues that have been raised and some get deeper insights into the business of law. If you do have questions, please use the tab, use the comment section. You can also send us a mail or send us a message on our different handles and platforms, and we'll answer your questions as a part of our discussion. We'll be taking questions in, so please do share your questions and join the conversation. We hope to have a very insightful, impactful discussion today. You're welcome again to the Gathering of the Land. And today in the Gathering of the Land, we'll be discussing understanding the business of law. Resource people for today, and we'll go into our first. We have Dr. Henry. Hello, Dr. Henry. Good morning. I know it's very early where you are. You're welcome to our discussion today. We have Dr. Henry Hector Amiwero. Please forgive me if I mispronounce that, but I'll get the pronunciation and I'll share that with you. We also have Mabel Okereke. She's a senior partner with Babalaki & Co. She's with us here in Lagos, and she'll be joining the conversation as well. And I'll get to read their profile just before they go into the discussion. But before we go into that, I'd like to invite our Kivi Foundation Director for his opening remarks. Emeka, over to you. Good morning or good afternoon. It's already 1 o'clock here in Lagos. Can we get our Kivi Global Foundation Director for his opening remarks? Or we can move right into our presentation with each of our speakers.
Hello, am I being heard?
Yes, I can hear you now. Good afternoon, sir. You're welcome to the Gathering of the Land.
Thank you, Adinola, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, world. Welcome to this special webinar, The Gathering of the Learned, Understanding the Business of Law. This program, of course, is brought to you by Kiviv Foundation, also known as Kiviv Global. Kivi Foundation is a global think tank, socio-economic, multilateral organization. We currently operate in 52 countries and counting, but with physical presence in United States, United Kingdom, South Africa, and Nigeria. We are committed to creating a better world for humanity, working across 7 central commission areas, which is politics and governance, regulatory framework, civil and public service, professional association, strategic business operations, policies, and of course, legal. Our focus today is on legal advocacy with emphasis on business of law. We at the Kivi Foundation is excited that our distinguished resource persons could join us despite tight and conflicting schedules. We are most grateful. Our resource persons will be addressing critical questions today, such as the transformation of the legal profession, navigating the duology of law and ethics in the age of business, and how do you monetize your value to the clients and trade satisfactory in the age of business. These are just few of the critical topics that will be covered during our session today. We are set for a highly insightful webinar and encourage everyone to settle in comfortably and make the most of this learning opportunity. Our heartfelt appreciation again goes to our distinguished resource despite their demanding schedules. Thank you for your participation. I wish everyone a fruitful and engaging deliberation even as we engage on this critical topic. Thank you, Adunola. Over to you.
Welcome back. So we're going to go into our first presentation, and it's my pleasure, it's my honor to introduce to you Dr. Henry Hector Amiwero. He's a distinguished gentleman with over 2 decades of business experience as a corporate counsel and solicitor. He's a sessional faculty at the Masters of Leadership program at the Trinity Western University. He was the company secretary and head of legal compliance at Total Energies Housing Cooperative. Henry was also the head of legal compliance, branding, and communications at Total ENP Nigeria Staff Multipurpose Cooperative Society Limited. He led the corporate and commercial secretarial and company secretarial department at Olajide Oyewole LLP, DLA Piper Africa. He's a notary public and a chartered management consultant. He's a trained negotiator and a mediator with significant experience in regulatory compliance, dispute resolution, intellectual property, immigration, employment-related matters. He's an approved board evaluator and auditor. Henry has several qualifications, such as he has a PhD, Doctor of Philosophy in Leadership and Business from the Highway Global Christian University, Texas, United States. He's a Doctor of Strategic Leadership. He has a Master's of Art in Leadership. He has an advanced professional diploma from the Trinity Western University in Canada. And we're very pleased to have you here with us. Thank you so much for honoring the invitation and to have this discussion with us. And he will be speaking to us today about, let me just get that confirmation here. He'll be talking to us about the transformation of the legal profession into the business of law, understanding the new frontier. Over to you, Henry. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
I'm so glad to be here today. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak at this August meeting. If you can be able to share my slides, that'll help me.
Your slide will be coming up shortly.
All right, thank you very much. When I started my pupillage with Chief Gioke Ajayi, SAN, was one of the foremost SANs in Nigeria. Whenever there was something that went wrong in the office, he would say, "This is not good for my business. That's not good for my business. This is not good for my business." And then I knew, the law is not about just a profession. It is a profession and a business. And a business. The law is, being a lawyer is a calling. It's a gifting. There's a gift inside of you. And it's that gifting that you see, and then you go to school, and then you hone your gift. After that, you have to now be creative to learn, creative to see what is the best way to do particular things to solve problems. That solving problems is what makes you valuable. And once you are valuable, then people will be able to exchange money for your being valuable. And when they exchange money for your being valuable, then that's the business. So there's a side of it that has to do with your profession, and there's also a side of it that has to do with business. You are able to solve problems. You are able to do several things when you have this understanding. And so when you now have that understanding that I am gifted, I have this grace, then I know that there is something I should be able to do. I must be able to convert my blessings into into um, um, finance. Do we have the slides now? Oh, very good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so the dual nature of the dual nature of the legal practice is the fact that it's a noble calling and it's also a business enterprise. But you also need to know that you are what kind of service are you providing? What kind of business? It's usually professional service. Even if you are in litigation or you are a company secretary, you are in-house, you are in academia, it's a professional service. You must now have to have a technical, an ethical balance when you are looking at how much to charge and to maintain profitability. You must have a fee structure. Consider the questions on when should I charge, how should I charge, and what should I charge. And those are things that will guide you. Next slide, please. There are different kinds of services that you could have. You could have a non-contentious business or matter, or you have a contentious one. We can change the slides, please. And that will determine what kind of matter and how much you are going to charge. If you have a non-contentious matter, then you usually an advisory or a transactional in nature. The scope is usually drafting and vetting of agreements and legal opinions and regulatory advice. It would encompass construction law, employment law, estate planning, intellectual property, tax, real estate, trust, aviation. And so you would have to now look, so if it's a non-contentious matter, how will I charge? Usually, it's typically a fixed retainer fee that is usually charged for non-contentious matters. For contentious matters, you need to now consider, oh, it might be a dispute, it might be protracted, it might be a litigation or a quasi-judicial issue. And then so the scope may be, it might even go to the Supreme Court. All right, maybe it would encompass criminal law, employment dispute law, personal injury claims, family law. It's usually by case basis that you have such billing. Thank you. Next slide, please. I would like you to consider what I call the 5 P's of legal business. And the 5 P's of legal business, of the business of the law, provides a comprehensive framework to understand and manage your legal practice. 1, the people. You are in a people-centered kind of profession and business. So you are looking at who will help you, your staff, partners, your client. You now have to now focus on customer satisfaction and building a strong relationships. So people, your social capital is important because it is through those people that you have provide a solution for them to pay you. Another P is price. This is the amount clients have to pay for the legal service. It's the only P that generates revenue. So pricing, you must be able to price right. You consider how much will it amount for me to do this particular job? What is the perceived value? And then what is the competitor's rate? If you are in if you are not in the US, consider how much will a US lawyer, just benchmark it with a particular kind of country, and then you'll be able to see, oh, internationally, am I really pricing right? You may need to do some promotion about your legal business, and you need to be smart about it. Sometimes you write articles, let people know about you, do pro bono work, have some corporate social responsibility, serve on boards and committees, cultivate that brand image. Don't we, as legal practitioners, is frowned out um, to advertise your practice, but there are many other ways to show that you know what you're doing. Speak at conferences. Those are the ways people know about your law practice. Then consider your product. What exactly do you want to offer your client? What exactly do you have that you know very well, that you have a competitive edge for? You need to consider that. So that product is what you need to focus on, and focus on, okay, I am into family law, I'm into commercial practice, I will be a company secretary, I will be a legal advisor, I will be in litigation. These are things that you need to now consider and say, okay, this is my product. So you need to consider, oh, the price, the people, the product, and lastly, you need to consider the place. Where's your office? And or you need to establish an effective online presence. So you may not have a physical office, but you must be able to have a place where your clients can meet with you, can talk with you, whether online or speaking with you on the phone. All these are the things that you need to have: your emails, your Zoom call, and whatever platform. And take your clients out for lunch. Meet them at the country club. That place, the place always activates, your business. So you need to consider your price, your people, your product, your place, and then your promotion. Next slide, please. You also want to now consider, do I want my clients to be on a retainer? Because a retainer is an initial deposit paid by the client to secure the lawyer's services. It's held in the lawyer's trust account until work is completed, and compensation for expertise and remuneration and reputation is received ahead of time. A retainer is different from a legal fee. While a retainer is money set aside for all the legal things you want to do, a legal fee is just for that particular transaction. So while a retainer might be paid in January for the entire year, a legal fee is just for one particular transaction. So you might consider, when you are doing a contentious matter, you might want to consider having a retainer. But if it's non-contentious, you might just want to have a legal fee. Next slide, please. Then you must also consider the fact that the fees, are they earned or unearned? Unearned fees are the amount deposited before the work commences, and handling is held in the client's trust account. Handling it is very, very delicate. So the lawyers cannot claim it until the work is completed. If you have not been able to complete it, you have to return the balance to the client, where you have to prorate some amounts. And when it is now earned is when you have completed the transaction, and the amount is paid to you for a particular transaction. So you need to know, you might even decide, okay, I would like to, will now break the fees into 20% for in the initial, at the mid of the transaction, 60%, and at the end of the transaction, you have 100%. You have to consider, okay, so what are the ways for me to get my fees, and what is convenient for the client, and what is contingent upon the transaction. Next slide, please. In calculating your retainer fee and fee structure, you need to consider several things. You need to consider how delicate the matter is. You need to consider, okay, so how much will I charge for this kind of transaction? What is the industry practice? Is there statutory requirements on what fee I should charge? Are there ways in which I can charge and not feel that I'm overcharging? All right. So, and you also need to inform the client the reasons why you are charging XYZ amount. So if you want to charge, you must consider how is it valuable to the client. Immediately you show a client that what you are providing is valuable, then the client is willing to pay. But if you just mention, "Oh, I will do XYZ for you for this amount," then you see your clients might be wondering, why should I pay this amount? You must be able to establish the value that your service will bring. And if your service is not given, what is the damage or reputational damage, loss of funds, or what will happen negatively if that service is not provided? Once the client is aware of this, then they are able to do that. You may also consider alternative fee arrangements. Maybe sometimes you might want to, the client may give you shares in their company. Sometimes the clients might decide that you could give some consideration other than cash. So you have to have structure your settlement with your client. You know, do you want to have some contingency fees? Do you want to have a different? So there are different ways in which you can charge even by hour. You can charge by milestones. You can charge at the end of the transaction, and you might say, "Oh, for recovering XYZ amount, I would get XYZ percentage from the recovered amount." So these are different ways in which your businesses, you can get money for your business. Next slide, please. Consider the fact that you need to be ethical in your billing, and your billing must be ethical. You must have a written agreement with your client on what you need to do, and then you may have a division of fees. It's reasonable when you consider the fact that the time, the labor that you want to use, the nature of the relationship, or whether it's a fixed or contingent provision. So those are the things you need to now look at. If you don't have an agreement on the fees, it can be very, very difficult to be able to claim the fees when you go to court. If you, whatever you have agreed on in writing, that's what you can claim back. I'll conclude. Next slide, please. So, in recovering of fees, in Bakari and Okenla, the Supreme Court held that a lawyer who successfully prosecutes a case but failed to send a bill of charges It's required by the Legal Practitioners Act and it's not entitled to such a claim. So you must be able to send your bill of charges, give a grace period of at least 1 month. And if it's a litigation, the bill remains unpaid, the lawyer may proceed to institute an action against them. So the key takeaway is that adherence to procedural requirements is crucial. Even when services are rendered and fees are due, the failure to follow statutory process of demanding payment can invalidate a claim. So by the time you understand the fact that your legal practice is not just a profession, it is also um, a business, and it's like any other business that has to do with um, um, price, your product, your place, your promotion, and most especially the people. Then you'll be able to have a robust legal practice that is financially viable. Thank you for your time. Thank you. I think we can go to the next speaker now.
Thank you very much, Henry. I think you've done largely the better part of the work. You've made my work a whole lot easier. I'll start I'll start the conversation from the Nigerian legal market, as it were. Please, can my slides be shared?
Coming up.
Thank you very much. Why is this conversation important? For several years, within the Nigerian market, many of us treated business as a dirty word in law. Most law firms closed their doors. They failed, not for lack of legal skills. They failed for lack of structure, cash flow discipline, and succession plans. Now, the business of law simply means running your law firm with the same professionalism you will give to your clients. In other words, having clear set goals, budgets, systems, and leadership. It's not about commercializing justice. If anything at all, it's about sustaining service. The Nigerian legal market today, as of the last time I checked, I understand that we have over 140,000 lawyers, most of whom are concentrated in Lagos or working out of Abuja. We have a few structured law firms doing cross-border transactions or corporate work, while thousands of these lawyers are into small practices and serving local clients. Within the Nigerian market, our legal market, we have had key reforms in recent times. We've had innovations in our laws. We've had rises in new sectors that have reshaped the demands for our legal services. Take, for instance, in this year, we've had the Investment and Securities Act that has that was passed into law earlier this year. We have the new Nigerian Tax Act. We have the Nigerian Tax Administration Act, the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Act, the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act. Now, these are all the new tax laws that we have been that was passed into law this year, and there's several other laws. We have the data protection law, fintech regulations. Now, all of these new areas are driving the reforms and shaping how our services have been demanded. I'm on the second slide now. Our clients are more price sensitive now than ever before. Their technology awareness and they're impatient for turnaround. The market rewards firms that can combine credibility with efficiency. The next slide, please. Now, to run that thriving law practice, it's important to think like a business. Every sustainable firm must manage their business, and these pillars are quite important to consider. You have to consider your strategy and your positioning, your client management. Some of these things Henry has already spoken to, so I'll just run through them very quickly. Your operations, your people, your finance, your governance, and your technology. For the Nigerian reality, you find many practitioners are generalists and they're chasing every brief that they can come across. Most times it's relationship driven referrals. Their files are still manuals and there's still delays in terms of how their services are rendered. It's mostly the founders of the firms that dominate in when decisions are being made, and they have a weak billing system in place and they have cash flow gaps. They're still informal structures and they have very patchy adoptions. Now, on the global side, the global lessons that we can see for legal practice, you find that in the English law firms in Canada or around the world globally, you find that lawyers are beginning to pick a niche, they hone their skills, and they become experts in that area, in whatever niche they've decided to. They have feedback loops, they're able to manage their clients' data, they're able to use checklists, workflows, tech tools, AI. These are things that on a day-to-day basis that have been deployed in firms in globally to help enhance the rendering of legal services. They delegate, they mentor, and they plan their succession. We have law firms, the magic firms in the UK are well over 100 years. And these are some things that should be considered in your practice as well. Budget, review profit per matter, you have profit per partner, you have profit per matter, and also partner agreement, internal audit, and then they start small, they have case management applications, and these are just a few of some thoughts we should consider. In terms of strategy and positioning, on my next slide, there are three questions that are important. And the first question is, who exactly is your ideal client? You possibly can't render your service to everyone. You're not suited to provide service to everyone. So who is your ideal client? And then what specific problem would you solve better than any other one? I mean, I'm saying it in another way from which Henry has already said, but you need to ask yourself, what's that solution you're providing that you would do better than any other person? And then why should that client choose you? Specialization indeed brings clarity and your brand power. Mid-sized firms that focused on fintech compliance and arbitration now attract repeat business, while generalists have struggled. So you find out that once you serve in a specific area of law, you're known for that area of law, you do it well over time, you will find that you're constantly being sought after. And that's the advantage part of your strategy and part of positioning, and it gives you an advantage over time. In terms of serving and keeping your clients, referrals matter, but clients now expect value and communication. I mean, this is something that is required in our professional ethics. It's important, your communications. Most of our letter of engagement, you find our clients saying we need to provide updates within 24 hours if it's a matter that is in court, if it's arbitration. So it's really very critical. Now, the best practice includes writing your clear fee letters and using your retainers. And then you follow up after each engagement. You publish insights and you host small seminars. It's ethical marketing. Henry said something along those lines. Clients remember good services. A client remembered for good service becomes unpaid marketing. Moving right along, people, leadership, and succession. Our biggest assets, they are our biggest assets are our talent. Yet many young lawyers leave because firms lack structure and recognition. It's important you have a definite career path in your firm, for associates, for senior associates to partners. You should have mentorship systems, and then you should discuss succession very early. Don't wait until you have crisis before you put all the structures in place. A firm that grooms leaders endures beyond its founders. For finance and governance, you should treat your practice like a client's company. You should maintain separate accounts and office accounts. You should track your collections, not just your invoices. You should review your costs monthly, use accountants or simple software, and governance means decisions by policy, not personality. This is just re-echoing what Henry has said, almost as though he peeped into my slides. Well, there are also tools in terms of technology and innovation. We have in our market here, we use Law Pavilion, we have PrimeSol, we have cloud-based case management system, we use Next Counsel, that allows even small chambers to manage documents and meet their deadlines. We have automation for templates, electronic invoicing, digital research to save time. And this in turn, kind of impresses our clients. It's important. You can start small. Workflow digitalizers can save you hours of work every week. For growth and for collaboration, growth can mean opening a satellite office in a commercial hub. It can be forming alliances with specialists instead of hiring full time. It's also offering adjacent services, compliance, tax, or training, for instance. Collaboration allows Nigerian firms compete regionally without overstretching our resources. Moving very quickly, measuring performance is also very critical. What gets measured gets managed. So it's important you track your utilization rates, that's your billable hours that have been used, your realization rate, that's your bill, and versus your collections. I talked about profit per partner and profit per matter. There's also client satisfaction, and then these numbers turn opinion into for management decisions when you're making decisions within the firm. A local case insight. A mid-tier firm introduced monthly business reviews, delegated billing to a finance officer, and created a shared knowledge drive. Within a year, billing delays dropped by half. Partners had more strategic time. The firm retained two multinational clients it had been at a risk of losing. The lesson in this instance was small management change can create a large impact within your practice. But What challenges do we have that are unique to us within the Nigerian market for legal practitioners? We have court delays. This frustrates clients. We have fee undercutting. It erodes value. Power and internet costs hinder tech adoption for smaller firms. Brain drain of associates is rising. We increasingly find that our associates are looking for opportunities in Canada, Henry, where you are. And yes, there are opportunities to make a difference. What are the practical recommendations from where I sit? It's important to do what matters. Run your firm, have clear written policies, not just by rote or from your memory. Specialize and partner where you lack strength. Train people in business as well as in law. Use basic tech to track work from time to time and review your performance monthly. Build a succession plan because you'll definitely need one. The key takeaways are the profession remains a noble one, but nobility is not necessarily sustainability. You have to think about sustainability. The future for Nigerian law firms are tech enabled, client focused, and business minded. Those who combine legal mastery with managerial discipline will not only survive, but they will lead the transformation within the Nigerian legal system. I have carefully chosen and spoken across the Nigerian legal system where I currently practice, because this is by far what we see within our market. But I'm sure I'll be able to speak to questions in terms of the cross-border work also that we do and how we've been able to engage in terms of our business and our practice of law. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Presentation, and also thank you to Harry as well. The network took me off for a bit. But before we go into our panel discussion, I just wanted to let me read Mabel's profile for us so that you have an idea of who is talking with us. Mabel is a distinguished lawyer with over 20 years experience. She's a partner and head of financial services and securities practice at Babalaki & Co., a full service law firm where she leads the banking and finance and taxation teams, which includes transactions relating to project and infrastructure finance, syndicated and bilateral lending, acquisition finance, structured finance, asset-backed lending and securitization, derivatives and structured products, bond issuances, equity and debt offerings, commodities-backed instruments, convertible instruments, and regulatory capital issuances. With a strong background in commercial litigation and a track record of representing multinational financial institutions, international oil companies, and regulators in complex and high-profile disputes, she brings a dispute avoidance mindset to our finance facility. She has advised the borrower in connection with a 20 billion syndicated loan facility for the refinancing of existing debt obligations. She has advised a leading commercial bank on a 50 billion naira special placement offer. She has advised on cross-border commodities trading involving the sale of dematerialized exchange-traded certificates. She is the leading counsel advising a foremost Nigerian bank on a private placement issuance for a multi-billion naira commercial promissory note. She's part of a team that advised a multinational multi-million naira fixed income and $1 million fund. Wow. She has also advised the client regarding a complex multi-currency finance transactions for first-tier banks, providing credit facilities involving multinationals and indigenous companies. So she's an expert when it comes to finance, international finance, and business. So we have very seasoned professionals or lawyers on this in our panel and in our webinar today. But I wanted to set the stage because one of the things that resource persons have said, and they have tried to set a stage for us between the duology of law as a legal profession and law as a business. Playing the other side, someone might ask, well, we have different people on the call, we have different people in the webinar, we have different stakeholders, we might have some clients. So I remember I was talking with someone and said, is law a profession? Now, what do you mean by law being a profession? You guys are business, it's just business. And you have a situation whereby people, maybe you provided service for someone and you have a situation, maybe a lawyer is now suing his client for fees because they haven't paid. Did you not just, what did you do in fact? What did you do? So there is this mindset whereby the lawyer, we call this the guardian of the learned, whereby people say, why are you learned? We say everybody else is educated, but the lawyers are learned. So why are you exactly learned? You're saying you're learned, it's a profession, but you're still collecting money. So the superiority of the legal mind, we're looking at the justification for the superiority of the legal mind. You saying that the legal mind is superior, but then you're also collecting, you're being paid for your service. You're the hired man of the businessman, should I say. So you have become, you fix his car, fix his houses, sell his property. You're basically a hired hand. So why so much about the learned profession? So we're going to look into that discussion. I'd like to get your thoughts on that. And as I said, some of your potential clients might be on this call. We have other lawyers that are looking into the profession. And we have had situations, I've had a situation whereby I needed to engage the services of a lawyer as an in-house counsel. And I'm like, I want to see the value you're bringing in first. Let me see what the value is. How do you distinguish yourself in this market, in this age of business, and set the stage that it's not, while we're distinguished in our profession, it's also a business. So the first question, and this will be both to both resource people, to both Mabel and Henry, I'd like to get your thoughts on. Someone said the law is no longer a learned profession, it is a business. Can something that has become so commercialized, can it be an instrument of justice, whereby you're paying for the service to the extent whereby lawyers are suing their clients for payment of fees? Can we restore confidence in the bar and feelings of distrust on the part of the laity, whereby we are maybe where cases are just being extended, continuances and things of that nature, considering that we have people jurisdictions listening into our call. So while we have our key resource people with the background in Nigerian law, but we have, what we're discussing is international and it is global. So I'd like to get your thoughts on that. How do we restore trust in terms of on the part of the laity? How do I know that you're really putting your best foot forward? How do I know that it's not just, someone said that whether or not a case lasts for 5 years or a year, the lawyer gets paid either way. So he's not in, there's no motivation to ensure that the case is rounded up pretty quickly. So how do we do this in this unseemly scramble for a client's business? I'd like to hear your thoughts, and I'm sure our audience would like to hear your thoughts. If you do have questions from anything that has been shared, please use the comment section, use our questions, use our email and our social media handles to send us a message, and we'll be happy to take your questions. So who would like to go first? Harry or Mabel?
Ladies first.
Okay then.
Okay. Although I didn't hear what you said, Henry, but I think I was reading your lips. You wanted me to speak first. Okay. So we're bound by rules of professional ethics, and a lawyer's brief is meant to be perfected. So it's important. I know, for instance, I've also seen it in the SRA rules in the UK. You're required to, at the inception, when you're being engaged as a lawyer, to ensure that the terms of engagement is established. In your terms of engagement, you will find that the fee structure will be clearly spelled out. So it's absolutely unacceptable for a lawyer's brief not to be perfected or not to be paid for. We have cases where lawyers have sued for their legal fees, and there's absolutely nothing wrong about that. So they're entitled to their fees. So that's on the one hand. On the other hand, how we conduct and handle our clients' matter is something that we pride ourselves in, because before long, if you are not handling your client's business very well, they would go elsewhere. Like I said, when I gave my short presentation to set a context for the conversation here. In Nigeria, for instance, we have year in, year out, tons of lawyers that are being, churned out from the law school. We have over 140,000 lawyers right now in Nigeria. So the competition is very stiff. So you would, as much as possible, want to ensure that you offer excellent client-centric service. And that's the only way you can stay in business and thrive. So it's not just about the fees, but it's also about getting the client's work done and done efficiently and timelessly as well. So like I said, we're bound by rule of professional ethics, and as you would know, not just in Nigeria alone, like I mentioned, the SRA, which is applicable in the UK, you'll find out that yes, lawyers are meant to follow a particular set of codes and ethics in getting our work done. And in all of this, we're highly regulated as well. So I would imagine that this is what drives us in the service that we render and how we go about serving.
Thank you very much, Mabel. Trust is the most important thing. I left Nigeria to North America some years ago, and my clients still give me work from Nigeria. And I'm always surprised because there are so many lawyers in Nigeria. I'm no longer I'm now in North America. But you see, the clients always tell me, Henry, I trust you. And it's because of that trust. That's why, if sometimes I tell the client, I don't have the time to do this now. I will do it XYZ time. Henry, I trust you because whenever you say you will do it XYZ time, you will do it at that time. And that's why I'm coming to you. Even though our time differences are different, our location is different, but we've been able to have that relationship of trust. Once that trust is established, then people will, you can provide value, you can solve people's problems, then they will stick to you. They would not feel, oh, you're overcharging me. Why are you charging me this? Because you've explained to them what the cost is. You are transparent. This particular amount will go to the federal government for XYZ. CAC fees are this, taxation fees are that, the land bureau fees are this, and you make it very clear to them what you are actually making from it. And they say, oh, this is quite reasonable. Nobody has ever broken down the fee to me. They just give a lump sum. And so they don't explain what value I'm gaining and what's the breakdown of that fee. Once they have that breakdown, they understand the value, they trust you. They also understand that if you don't provide this service, this is what is going to happen to you as a client. They know the negative side that could happen. And so immediately they are able to see that and they're able to trust you. Then you'll be able to have that relationship and be able to receive the payments due for your work done. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Harry and Mabel, for that insight. I did not realize having some technical issues. So I will just take some of the questions that are coming in while we wait for her to continue. I believe I'm being heard. So I will take. So this question says, how can small and mid-sized firms compete with large firms on corporate mandates? So maybe Henry should take that question. Then I'll push this question to Mabel. Many firms face successions and retention issues. What practical steps can be taken to build continuity? We'll take that. I'm sure Atunala is back, and then she can continue from there. So Henry, over to you.
Small and mid-sized law firms have the ability to hone a particular kind of specialized legal service, which a big law firm cannot do because their legal practice encompass quite a number of areas. So I particularly know a particular law firm in Lagos Island. They don't do any other thing than probate matters. And even when I was working in a very large law firm, one of the largest in the country at the time, we would firm out particular cases to this particular law, mid-size and small law firm, because they specialize in that area. So what I would say to small and mid-sized law firms is that look at your product offering and look at the fact that you can specialize in particular things, and with that you will be able to match your the big size law firm who is like a Goliath, but a small stone can bring down that Goliath because you have mastered the wielding of that stone. So it's always important for you to understand is what is my product offering, what will distinguish me, what is the differentiation, the value I can bring that is different from any other person, and hone that skill and have all the contacts in that industry, know everything that you need to know in that one, and that's how you're able to now compete with a very large law firms. Even large law firms will actually firm out some of their briefs to you because you've already you are not chasing everything. You're just chasing one or two particular areas of law, and you are now a specialist in that area. So with that, you are able to do to do that. When I was with GOK Ajayi used to be one of the foremost senior advocates of Nigeria, and he had a very large practice. But we had a particular lawyer who was just a small mid-sized firm, but understood tax, and we were able to go to court, and you can imagine just young lawyer arguing with an SCN who was an SCN in the 70s. You see, because he has been able to hone his skill in that particular area of law. And so that small mid-sized law firm was able to um, be on the same level with a very large law firm just because they've honed their skills. Thank you.
That's excellent.
Thank,
Mabel?
thank you. Uh, Thinking on succession plans and how to ensure you can retain associates or good talent when you find one in your firm. It's important, one, to have a clear path in your firm. One, it's good to, in recent times, we've found a lot of partnerships being registered in firms. It's no longer SYZ and Co, but you now have the LLP structures in place. It's important you have a clear partnership agreement that defines ownership, profit sharing, retirement, how new partners will be admitted into the partnership, and then you have things like building brand firm-wide emails, a system to retain, your clients. And then one thing that we find here is the Gen Zs are very, very intelligent. I work with a good number of them, and they have clarity, focus, vision where they're going to. So it's important when you have, associate working in your firm, you need to be able to show them a growth path, how they can also aspire. But if there's nothing to aspire to, before long, they will leave you and they'll be somewhere. I mean, it's interesting in our markets today that we find English firms directly recruiting. And so our competitors are no longer the banks several years ago or the corporates in Nigeria. We now have entities out of Nigeria directly reaching out to us to say, would you want to have a chat via LinkedIn? So it's really a competitive market. So for you to find talent and to keep them, to create succession plans, you must do a whole lot more. There must be that clarity and you must create it also. So yes, you have clear path on how to go from an associate to become a senior associate, to become a managing associate and a partner. And then you must communicate what the requirements are, and how this growth can be attained, performance, the promotions and the structures, reviews, the feedback. And then I think it's important to identify 2 to 3 at each given time, depending on how big your firm is, who your successors will be, and then provide training opportunities for them, expose them very early. We have locally here our MBA, SBL, and then if it's internationally, also you have the firm has a deep pocket. You might also be able to offer them such platforms and firm retreats, send them to business schools. There's a whole lot you can do to ensure that you have a succession plan. Also introduce performance linked bonuses for originating new clients, reward teamwork, not just billable hours, and provide mentoring. There's a whole lot. And it's good to note that people like where they are valued, and once they can find value within the firm, they feel appreciated. I think before long you will find that you'll be able to retain, and then you would have a succession plan. I am quite impressed when I look at the English law firms and some of the firms in the UK that have been there. The Magic Circle firms have been there for over 100 years, and they are still excelling. We still look up to them. We still do work with them, and I think we can have this across the African continent as well. So I think that's the way to go. Clearly, thank you. I can't hear you, Perry. Can you hear him?
No, I
Okay,
can't hear him as well.
sorry
Okay.
about that. My mic was still muted. I'm back now. So thank you, Mabel, thank you, Henry. I was saying that legal tech adoption is very slow, especially in Africa. By the way, we have people connecting to this webinar from about 11 countries, especially in Africa. So what barriers exist and how can we overcome them? I'm talking about legal tech adoption. What barriers exist and how can we overcome them? We're speaking that. Then the next question is, what are the examples of quick wins technologies that can help firms improve service delivery, not just in Nigeria, in Africa at large? So who is speaking what?
Okay, I'll speak to the quick wins. I'm not sure that, maybe
Okay,
because
great.
I work in a big law firm, um, legal tech is a must with the work that we do. For you to provide that cutting edge service, you must quickly start looking into it. And I don't think that it's a barrier right now, because the internet is readily available. So it's about knowing them. I think the first thing is, are you aware these services are available? We have Next Counsel, for instance, in Nigeria. We have Law Pavilion, and they are really affordable. Some law within the MBA, for instance, we were providing free access to Law Pavilion so that young lawyers can have access. That's within the Nigerian Bar Association. So yes, they are. We've done a bit to ameliorate whatever seeming hardship, but at the time, I'm not sure what the pricing is now, but I remember there was a time they were paying maybe less than 10,000 naira. It was about 3,500 for a monthly subscription to have NWLR. The law reports now are available on NWLR, Prime Sol, Law Pavilion. The more expensive ones are the ones we probably get out of the UK, the LexisNexis, the Westlaw, but Practical Law, but they are available, they are accessible. Once you have access to them, what you need to do is to pay, subscription, knowing that they are even there. So I think the problem is the awareness. Are you aware at all where to find this resources? But there are a whole lot of them out there. It's making work a whole lot easier. There's an avalanche of all of these materials out there. So yes, I think legal tech is the way to go. In fact, as we speak, we get emails asking us to provide or be part of some inquiries on how we're adopting AI to work within the firms, and so it's something that it's increasingly being used, and that's the way to go. So yes, so it's available. I think I've answered that.
Thank
Yes.
you very much. Thank you, Mabel. What I would say is that first, the mindset has to change.
True.
The fact that you need to learn, relearn, unlearn, because and then you must also know that this is the way to go. The world is changing. I'm not that old, but I remember when I used to be in the Ministry of Justice. Whenever I write my briefs, I would give it to someone to type on the typewriter. And by the time I moved into practice, left the ministry, the first thing my boss did was that no more secretary work. All of us are secretaries now. He got us, that time we had this big, I'm sure you remember, this big computers with big screens and stuff, and then we would type. It was new and exciting. So I just want you to have that same enthusiasm that AI is new, it's exciting. This embrace it, learn, relearn. It's something that we cannot do without now. Anybody that says, "Oh, why do we need this now?" You'll be it make your work efficient, and you will lose out. You might be thinking, "Oh, what about the costs?" But you see, you can make back that money. You see, once you are efficient, you are valuable, you will make back the money you use for your technological cost. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, Adinola, finally you're back. I think your mic is muted. Be sure your mic is not muted. Be sure your mic is
I'm
not
on mute.
muted.
It's not
I can hear
muted
you
here.
now. I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Okay. So I wanted to say, I think it was Henry that said that there are no, or was it Mabel that said there are no barriers, that we have technology in Lagos, but it seems that the technology has showed itself today that it's not as perfect as it should be. So ask where Mabel is functioning from, because I've had 3 different connections and it's been something else. But to get the conversation, as much as I've been trying to catch the conversation, it has been an interesting conversation. So I want to set the stage, and as we're getting questions, I'll push that to you. I had 2 experiences that I'll pass across. So I had a client that was in Nigeria but had property in the UK, and they were attempting to get a lawyer in the UK. And so this lawyer that was recommended by someone. So in terms of the client engagement, and the reason why I'm bringing these questions to your mind is because we do have stakeholders. So it's not just lawyers that are on this webinar. We have other people that use legal services on this webinar. So the lawyer goes in terms of his fees. He was saying when being asked for justification of his fees, he says you can go ahead and check me on the because in the UK they have a website whereby all accredited lawyers are on that website, and you can verify that they are lawyers. So the lawyer goes on and says, you can check me on this website, I'm there. And if you have any issue with my work. So I think they were discussing payment structure. They wanted to do a bit of retention. And so they wanted to do a bit of retention. So, and in terms of why the lawyer was saying, no, there can't be any retention. It says my fees are set. You can help me, and if you have any problems with my services, you can report me to the council, the bar council. And the client is like, I don't want to have to get into trouble. I'll have to use money to report you to get how much is the money being involved. That's one experience. There's another experience whereby a client is trying to get, I need a client released from bail, and the lawyer, before we even talk about what is required or the complexity of the matter of what you will do or what your services particularly entail, the person is, you have to pay me this amount. I cannot even discuss with you until you pay a certain amount. So it now becomes like it's a shark infested water. How do we deal in such a situation? So the second discussion that I'd like to be you guys to help me discuss this is, every business person, especially when we're in commercial law. So I've been in a law firm, I've been in-house, and have managed a firm. So I've seen a bit of all 3. And one of the in-house lawyers say, especially because when you're in-house, you are the client. So you're dealing with a lot of lawyers. You want someone that is quick, because time is money. So we need management of time. We don't want something that will drag. We want something that will be timeless. We want someone that understands what our business is and what we are trying to achieve. So every business person in a sense is his own lawyer. They understand what they want to achieve. So how do you leverage client information for effective structuring? And how can you not be seen as a clog in the wheel? So one of the things that in-house, what the different departments, whether you're servicing lawyers or you're servicing people in the business, they say once it gets to legal, I don't want it to get to legal. It's going to get frustrated. Legal will say no. Legal always says no. Legal is a clog in the wheel. You can't get past legal. So how do you leverage client information, what the client wants to achieve for effective structuring? How do you not be a clog in the wheel? Over to you guys.
Let me take the first question.
Okay.
The first thing is about having a character, and you are looking at what will satisfy me as a lawyer. Money does not satisfy fully. It's part of your satisfaction. But the fact that you did X, Y, Z, accomplished X, Y, Z. Sometimes when I drive the streets of Lagos and I see, I incorporated that company. I did this transaction for this company. When we're talking about Mabel, Mabel has so much experience, especially in the banking and finance, and there's these transactions that she's proud of that she did. So as a lawyer, come leave your high horse and don't say, go and check me in that website. Come to the client level. How will you solve the person's problem? And when you are able to do that, then the person will say, I need to do more for this particular client. When I was in the Ministry of Justice, I made a plan, and I was committed that in 2 days, I will write my advice, because I was in the DPP's office. and we'll have to write an advice to the Attorney General on whether this particular case should, because there was a lot of backlog of people that are in trials or waiting trials, and consistently doing that, quite a number of people said being set free, and they will come with their families to my office just to say thank you. You see, there's no money that can fulfill that. No amount of money. You can imagine someone will just setting some people free, and in a week you have a number of people will come with their entire family and say, "We want to go and say thank you to the lawyer who helped us and set me free." So there's a joy and satisfaction that you have that is more than finance, and so all lawyers should look at the fact that this is a calling for me. The finance will come, but there's also a fulfillment that I've been able to solve a problem. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Henry, for that. In
Thank
addition
you
to
very
what you
much. So
can I go
Sarah,
on?
go ahead. Go ahead. I was going to say, are we going to say, are we started by thank you very much? Are we happy with thank you very much?
Well,
I
thank you very much also brought me promotion, and that promotion also gave me more money.
That's
All right,
right.
and also brought me reputation. That
That's right.
reputation also made me have clout and influence. So if I was a stickler to only money, I would not have promotion, clout, influence, and all that it came with.
So maybe I should just add that what Henry is trying
Very
to say
true.
is that
So there's more than
payment is not just cash. Okay, referral can also be payment. Your good work can be referred, and you can get bigger clients from just doing something. A pro bono service can bring you big businesses. That's what Henry is trying to say. I believe I'm being heard.
yes, yes, yes.
actually.
And so, in
Yes,
addition
maybe
to
over to you.
in addition to what Henry had said, um, every lawyer who wants to become a partner, at least in a law firm, must understand how to negotiate fees. It's an art, you must learn it. One of my bosses used to say a lot that you must have emotional intelligence. I have since found out that it takes a lot of emotional intelligence when you're interfacing with your clients in the area of billing. You need to understand how to win your clients over. When it comes to structuring fees with clients, something I have often done is to ensure that the client understands that I am a client centric lawyer. So my objective is to ensure that the client's business is better served. So my fees is not always the focal point. Fees are things that you should mutually negotiate with your clients. Like I did say when I started that even under the SRA rules that's in the UK for lawyers, as for solicitors, you're meant to engage and agree the terms of your fees. Now, what my fees will be for the lenders when we're doing the 50 billion raise will not be the same structure when I'm working for a small or a startup firm. So again, you would need to understand how to price and how to negotiate for your fees. Um, in no time, when you come to the table and they see the value you bring to the table, you will no longer be regarded as a cost center like the legal is regarded within some corporate entity because they think, oh, it's cost, they are going to court and they are paying for. But when they see the value you bring to the table, recently I just got a retainer from some corporate and they're doing big business, and he handed me over the agreement, distributorship agreement he has with some manufacturers within Asia. By the time I read the contract, I said, this is a recipe for disaster. I broke it down for him. And I mean, the person, my client my client in this instance is also a lawyer, but he's not into practice like I am. I read through the contract. I said, how are you going to do this? You're asking that if you provide this equipment and the equipment does not work, they should return it back to you. I said, at whose cost? I said, where you got the equipment, you didn't manufacture this equipment. You bought it from someone. Is the person going to replace it for you? Is there a warranty? By the time I broke it down, he said, oh, wow, I didn't see it. I made him see how he would have had a colossal loss on that business, on that one contract alone. That's just one instance. I'll tell you a life case. Someone walked into my office once and wanted us to provide services. And when we gave him a quote of what our fees would be like, he said, oh, I would go and use the street lawyer. And guess what? Lawyer. And a few months down the line, he was in trouble. Now, I think he had invested 50 million in the first instance, and he now had problems. He now came back to us to help solve it. And guess what? I wasn't very sympathetic at that time, because in the first instance, he could have gotten proper legal advice and he could have negotiated a fee, which would have been easier for him to do. But then he preferred to go and get a street lawyer. And when he eventually got into trouble, he came back. So what I often tell people is, when you try to cut costs by not procuring the goods, because I tell someone, I said, I don't sell crayfish like the woman in Ojuelegba market or Balende market, for instance. What I sell is legal service. The ability to look through your documents, to look through your transactions, to advise you to say, oh, this is the way to go. These are the risks. We can mitigate this. And there are other risk avoidance mechanisms that you can put into place in your document. Those things will save you millions of dollars. Now, when they see the value that you bring to the table, more often than not, clients are willing to negotiate and say, okay, you know what, I will structure this. Can we do a contingent arrangement? Can we do this? And so it's always not a problem on our side when we're discussing fees with our clients, because anybody who is walking into my law firm right now knows, oh, they have a reputation, they are getting this service. So it's not about us haggling fees. It's about what service we're bringing to the table, if you see what I mean. I hope I've been able to shed some light in that regard. Thank you.
Adenola, are you there? Okay, so let me just, for the benefit of the audience that are not lawyers, can we switch this conversation a bit? Okay, Adenola, are you back? Just before we get back to you.
Yes, I am. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can see you now. Can I hear you? Yes. I just went to.
Okay, fantastic. That was a very. I think. Emeka, do you want to finish you had something you wanted to say?
Yes. While waiting for you to step in, I was just trying to ask a question to our resource persons for the benefit of someone that is not a lawyer and is watching this webinar. How can I identify a good lawyer that can help my business without throwing anyone under the bus? What are the signs? What should I look out for to know this would be a good lawyer? He may just be with his briefcase. He's just starting out. What are the things to look out for to say this person can defend my interest? He will be ethical. He's not just looking at what he can get from me. He will not just be getting enjoyment so that I keep paying him money when I have a case. How can I identify a good lawyer? There must be some signs, and there will be some red flags, right? Henry, you have
okay, so that's a very interesting question. So Henry, go ahead. You want to tackle this one?
Yeah. Sometimes it's very difficult to identify a good lawyer. It's only a lawyer that can know a good lawyer. Someone outside would cannot know. Only a lawyer can know. So usually referrals are usually the best way to be able to know, because a lawyer will be able to know the parameters at which to judge whether this person is a good lawyer or not. And you have some particular recommendations that could be done. I remember the time when I'm a notary public, and people that would require notarization, the British Embassy has a list of those people that you can notarize your documents. And they usually advise that those people on our list are the people that we have vetted from Nigerian lawyers to be reputable. So usually it's best for you to check out what the person is saying, check out what other people are saying about the person, what's the reputation of the person, check out what is the empathy that the person has for you. When you listen to someone and you see that the person is genuinely concerned about you and how to solve your problem, you know that this is a good lawyer, because he knows his craft. He knows that he has a empathy, he has the commitment to solve your problem. Check out what people have said about the person online. Check out if the person has scandals. Just put the person's name. If you put my name on Google, you see many things will come up. So check out what does social media say about the person, or the media say about the person. Ask people that are lawyers. Have you heard about this particular lawyer before? And listen to what people will say. Those are some indications, and allow God to lead you, because it can be difficult to fall into some very special people. Thank you.
Very true. Mabel, do you have a viewpoint on this? Do you want to say something about this?
My 10 cents on that point would be to also go for the brands, and you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with a Gucci bag. You can't go wrong with you can't go wrong. So I wouldn't say more. So there are brands out there, and these brands have been out there. They've done good work. Their work speak for them, and their transaction, their deal list, they can tell you, they will handhold you. If they are doing work for the big, so you see, they can serve
But
these clients well. They will serve you well, So I mean, I think it goes
Mabel,
without.
I think I would check you there, though. I think I would check you there, and I see what you're doing there. But I think I will check you there, because we do have the SMEs coming as well. We have the
As a
SMEs
matter of
coming up.
fact,
I
some
mean,
of these big brands also have some corporate services, kind of giving back, that they do for the startups. And we grow with our clients and we help them. And that's what I said. When it comes to fees, it's not the first thing we put at the table, but it's when you bring value to clients, you understand their business, you help them. Without saying, they will just gravitate towards you and they can grow with you, if you see what I mean.
I do. So what we're saying is about value, the value you bring, and monetizing that value. Because the client you still need to. At the end of the day, sometimes the legal department and the law firm is seen as a cost cost department. You're not bringing in money, but yet you're spending money, and the client wants to see that this is not a department that is adding to the revenue of the business. Instead, it's actually costing us money, and you need to make sure that at the end of the day, the legal unit, the law firm, is actually adding money. So I think if we have final thoughts, just words that we want to say, how do you monetize your value? Because we do have situations where you have a client that is just that knows at the pain threshold, when the matter is hot, the client can promise anything. I once had a client whereby it was said about the person that the person can sign anything at the point of signing. He can sign anything. Is it just to sign? I will sign, and that's the end of it. But after the signing, the person doesn't intend to honor their words. So how do you navigate that? How do you in the demands of practical business, how do you bring and show your value? How do you trade successfully? What are the keys and skills that you can leverage in the age of business?
Okay, I'll give my 10 cents on that point. What we do as lawyers, we're a service provider. We identify a need and we provide the solution. It's a no-brainer. From where I sit, I head the financial services and the securities group in Babalaki and Co. I work out of the real estate practice group. I lead the team there. And I'll use this to give you these two illustrations. On a daily basis, I meet with corporates that require funding, capital in their business. And they're looking to raise capital. I sit as the vice chair of the Capital Market Solicitors Association. And each time I meet them, I'm wondering, okay, are they looking to do debt? Are they looking to do equity? So when I see them, I'm telling them, okay, this is what, they need $1 million here. They are trying to raise this. When we're engaging and I'm speaking to them, my experience is not one of, they're thinking, how to I readily come with a solution for these people, if you see what I mean. And I'm telling you,
Yes.
we have this lender who has appetite for this kind of capital raise. The threshold in this is from this amount to this amount. They will do this sum. And so happily, they will prefer to gravitate towards my practice and my team for us to help them raise capital. And that's what helps us go on. So without much effort, we can see that, and we're setting up meetings for them to say, we can introduce you to this lender, we can introduce you to this financial institution. If your books are in order, if you have this, these are the requirements, this is how to scale up your business. Every business needs capital. So once you understand that, and yes, and you need the right lawyer to help you, and then you then have a lawyer who can even introduce you to the lender, the man who has the money to come and invest in your business, is a no-brainer. So it's I think it's long gone when they think that lawyers are the one who are the cost. Lawyers are adding value. They are bringing money to the business. They are saving the business. They are saving the company money also by not losing money. Because when you don't sign the right contract and then you have litigations tomorrow, problems crystallize, and then you now have contingent liabilities, you lose a lot of money. So when your lawyer
Yes.
saves you $1 billion from a lawsuit, he didn't put money in your pocket, but he also helped block the leakage.
Very true. Very true.
The legal, your lawyer is your partner in progress. You need to completely reorientate yourself. I was speaking at the Reader last week, and I said to them, it was a real estate award conference, and I was saying to them, I said, time passed when you finish structuring the deal, then you now bring the lawyer to come and put an addendum, his stamp on it.
Exactly.
From when you start,
Exactly.
that's when you should start talking to your lawyer. Because look at the inflation that we've had in this country in the past 24 months, 24 months. You're a developer, you've undertaken to develop properties, and then prices have gone up 200, 400%, and you signed contracts. What do you do? But if you had clauses in your contract that envisaged that the contract could be frustrated or that you can renegotiate, stuff like that. These are part of the reasons why you should. So you should stop viewing your lawyer as a cost center. Your lawyer is your partner in progress. I think that's
I like that. I think with that,
can I just add something to this thoughts quickly?
Please go ahead.
Okay. If you are listening to this webinar, you are not a lawyer, you are a businessman, you want to go into business, you need the services of a lawyer. It cannot be overemphasized. Having a lawyer by your side, even as a startup, is non-negotiable. Is non-negotiable. You need the service of a lawyer. It's an added advantage to have a lawyer with you. Okay, maybe not in under retainership, but someone to help you review contracts, review deals before you sign any document. Have someone with a legal perspective go over those documents. Don't just sign. Don't be in a haste to sign deals or contracts without having a lawyer with you. But this is also the advice I would like to give to you. If you cannot afford a Gucci, wear a Chidi. Start small and then you can scale up to the big firms. All right. So you can't afford the Gucci, wear a Chidi. Just put on a shirt. Don't say because I can't afford the Gucci, so you won't wear a shirt. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So have a lawyer. You can start with the local one somewhere if there is anything like that, but start. Have a lawyer.
You know, the interesting thing is the Guccis of this world offer their brands for everyone to have. So you need to understand how you can get a Gucci bag without breaking the bag.
Without paying so much, right?
Yeah, you need to know how to get a Gucci bag without. I can tell you how.
Hey, interesting, amazing. So one of the things that I want to bring this back for our audience, because there's a difference in terms of if you are talking about different classes, and we have firms of different classes, and we have firms and there are some firms that, because it's not necessarily just the name, because we can have some names and you might not get that personal service that Mabel is talking about, whereby someone that is seen to your business. And what Emeka had mentioned was having the right lawyer. It's not just getting a lawyer, but having the right lawyer, because it's not necessarily in just the name. But if the name will provide a generalized service, will not be personal to your business, I will not take your business personally. And here at Kiviv, what we do, we have a list of recommended firms that you can partner with, and firms that we can say that yes, these firms are rated. These firms are rated, and we can give them our backing. So that's one of the things that we are looking, because the law is a foundation and a pillar in what we are doing in the world. So having the right partner is very key, is very strategic, and ensuring that you can pay for the right partner. And how you're not just paying amiss, but you're paying actively and correctly. So, do we have any questions online that we want to take at this time, or? We can. This has been a very interesting conversation, and we're looking forward to developing this. I see is a session for young lawyers, a session for business owners. So what we had mentioned, what Emeka had mentioned, highlighting that, well, as a business owner, what do you want to see? Because we're talking about business acumen. You need your lawyer to understand your financial statement. You don't need a lawyer that doesn't understand your financial statement. You need your lawyer to understand where your pain points are. And one of the things that we said on this webinar was that one of the best people to employ lawyers are lawyers. And that's what I've seen as in-house counsel. I've had situations where other lawyers have just delayed my work, and I'm just like, I want to take it back from you and probably give it to Mabel, but I'm still saving up Mabel's fees. So it's something of that nature. So those are one of the things that this conversation will definitely develop, and we'll have more conversations about that. I really do apologize for my network today, and the network in Lagos is will definitely query it and say that something needs to be done, and the next one will definitely be better. I'd like to hand over to Emeka at this time. Thank you so much, Harry. It was a beautiful time talking with you. Thank you so much, Mabel. Your insights and the conversations that we had were truly eye-opening. And if anybody does have questions after the webinar is over, please do send it to us at legal@kivivglobal.org. Emeka, over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Before I wrap up, I don't know if Henry has a party shot, and Mabel, they have 1 minute. You want to say something?
I like to thank you for inviting us to speak here and to share our 10 cents. It pains me when I see matters go to court that shouldn't have gone to court in the first instance. And it's if there's one thing that we should take away from here is the fact that before you sign the dotted lines, when you start thinking of a concept, an idea, run it by your legal advisor so that you should at all points have a dispute avoidance mechanism in your business. It will save you a whole lot more when you grow your business that way. It's truly possible to run your business efficiently and have risk avoidance mechanisms in your contracts. And the way to go would be to ensure that you engage your legal advisor well ahead of time. On this side, if you are a legal advisor, you should aim to be that trusted advisor, where the trusted advisor is that lawyer whose clients rests on them and they reach out to you every now and again. They say, oh, Emmy, we're about to do this, we're investing in this, they seek your counsel all the time. And 10 over 10, you're right on the law and on the services that your client requires. So thank you for having me on this
Excellent.
webinar. I'm grateful.
Thank you so much, Mabel. Henry, Dr. Henry?
Thank you very much. My takeaway and my final thoughts are still that 5 P's of looking at your legal practice as a business. Legal practice is a people business, so build your social capital. That's the first P, people. And promotion, you don't need to advertise. Once you are there, your CSR, your article writing, you're showing up, serving on several boards, people know about you, you have a reputation, you are promoting. P, promotion. And place, have a proper office, or social media presence, or a place where you and your client can always meet. And your product, know your stuff. Know your stuff. Have that on your skill. Know it inside out. That P, product. And the last P, price. Have the right price. Don't overcharge and don't undercharge. And look at what really is the best price, and you will be able to scale up your business. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you.
Amazing.
Atinola, did you say something?
Yes, I said amazing. I think that captures it excellently. I was waiting for, as you said, don't overcharge. I was waiting for the don't undercharge. I was happy to hear that.
Don't overcharge, don't undercharge.
I don't undercharge because we provide valuable service. We're in the service industry. So we do have some key takeaways from today.
Excellent. Well, the board of Kiviv Foundation expresses our sincere appreciation to our distinguished resource persons, Dr. Henry, Barrister Mabel. Despite your demanding schedules, you generously dedicated your time to participate in this event, sharing invaluable contributions and insights, that have enriched our dialogue today. I also want to extend my heartfelt appreciation to Adinola Akindele herself for the outstanding role played as moderator, despite the network challenges that she encountered. It's amazing. Understanding the business of law is just the first in the series of what we call the Gathering of the Learned. We'll be bringing up, critical issues that affect not just the legal profession, but also the client in subsequent programs. But I just want to quickly outline 6 skills that everyone that wants to succeed in business, especially as a lawyer, today, must have. Number 1 is business development skills. You have to develop business, but you have to study, take a course. This may not have been taught when you went to law school, and what have you. You need to develop business development skills. Leadership skills is important. Networking skills, soft skills development, emotional intelligence. I think maybe I alluded to this earlier. Then digital and technological skills. It's not just enough to bury your head in the big books that lawyers use. You need to be an all-rounder to have a successful practice today, and also to give your clients the satisfaction that they need and value for the money they can afford. So I'm very appreciative to everyone that connected. What are the next steps? In the coming days, just like with our other webinars, a formal communique will be released outlining the solutions, recommendations formulated during this discourse. This document will serve to summarize the key outcomes of our interactive sessions today and provide clear directions for future actions. Stakeholders and participants are encouraged to review the communique upon its publication to remain informed on decisions and strategies shared during our discussions today. In addition, we are planning a global media panel very soon, where we will be showcasing most of the recommendations that have been shared in the seminars we've had recently and key outcomes to ensure broader engagement and awareness among stakeholders and the public. Further details regarding this media panel will be communicated. So kindly ensure you remain up to date and informed by going on all social media handles, look out for QVIV Global, and then like us, follow us. Ensure you add our email address info@qvivglobal.org to your contacts. It will help prevent your mails from going to spam folder. I look forward to the next webinar. I thank everyone for coming. Thank you, Dr. Henry. Thank you, Barrister Mabel again. Thank you, Adinola. And thank you to everyone that connected from all around the world. See you next time. Yes.